So all of this is the world of Stephen Hancock, one of the creators behind the SCP series. Tactical, okay.
Hello everyone and welcome to Frameforge. Today's brain that we're going to be picking on is Stephen Hancock, someone who's made this. Cut! That's all you get to see. If you want more, well, I guess you're going to have to stay tuned, maybe like, and maybe subscribe to this channel, and well, let's get on with the interview. So before we start, I have to just say this. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. Super last minute. You immediately replied and you immediately came forward to us, which super appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So I guess to start off, the main thing to ask is, who are you? What do you do? Like, how would the audience know you or like get to know you online?
Hi, I'm Stephen Hancock, and I'm the director and cinematographer for SCP Overlord. Evan and I, so most of our recent stuff that people want to watch are all on Evan's channel. So if you search Evan Royalty on YouTube, you'll find it. Or if you just search SCP Dollhouse or SCP Overlord, you'll also find it. So Dollhouse is the only recent work, like film, that is on his channel. My stuff, you can find it on Vimeo, but the fastest way to get there is to go to my website, retrodigital.co, and then /narrative, and it'll have all my stuff there.
Like, how did you start out? Like, did you go to like film school? How did you start with all of this?
Mostly self-taught, no film school, nothing like that. I just used to use video games to kind of teach myself on how to like edit stuff. So I'm versed in mostly every department to some extent. I don't know anything about audio, I'll say that right about, but I know what good audio is supposed to sound like, but I don't know how to read like dials or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, when it comes to like editing, like some compositing, coloring, directing, shooting, like my primary strengths are in directing and shooting, because I usually do both of those like myself, because I already know what I want visually, and I know I can do it. I know the gear, all that kind of stuff, but I really like telling people what to do.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know what you want, right?
Because it's like, all right, here's what we're doing, and then like do on my own shot list, storyboards, everything like that, so everything's organized. So it's like, all right, just follow the shot list, that's it. And everything's labeled by lens, scene number, everything.
Yeah, it's always good. It's so nice to like go on set, have your shot list ready, and just be able to shoot. It's the best.
The effigy in the trailer, we actually did burn that. That's real. That's not...
Wait, you actually did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, right?
The only thing that's enhanced are the embers that were added. Those were CGI, but everything else was totally real.
So many people rely on technology nowadays to add that later. And the fact that you still want to like approach it and get it on camera right and get it on camera first, because that is something that you feel. You know, of course you may see certain things here and there, but like you can feel it when it's real.
It keeps it grounded, like, because that's one of the biggest things that I like to do with a lot with all my films. So like with Paradox and Nightlight, I try to emulate the look of natural light as possible, and we did that with Overlord as well. Like 90% of the film is natural light, except for there's a basement scene where it's dark. We have to stylize darkness with that because nothing can see in the dark, so it kind of looks like Zero Dark 30-ish. And there's a scene where they're in a bedroom and it was nighttime because we were running late, so we had 250 diffusion over the window and two 1200 HMIs outside. Whenever they look out into the hallway, into the doorway, we had two Dracast LED panels, one on one end of the hallway, one on the other end at 100% coming in for daylight. That's the only scene that actually had lighting, but everything else was like, it was all window light. Because I feel like doing that, like the audience will feel, they'll have more of a reference of something like, oh, you know, like my kitchen looks like that, rather than having it like, you know, look like a stylized commercial or whatever, which is like every single like Hollywood action movie and whatnot. Which there's nothing wrong with that. It's like if it's meant to do that, that's fine. Like all of Michael Bay's movies, they look like a, you know, Bud Light commercial, and they look awesome, but they're supposed to.
Since you lit up practically, I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, 90% of the movie with natural light, did that feel like your process was faster or slower, or how do you feel?
I didn't have a choice.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Originally, so we got behind a day because we had some issues on set, so we were just like boom, boom, boom. Originally, we were each room was supposed to have diffusion on the windows, and we were supposed to use the HMIs to have continuous lighting.
Yeah.
The Condor lift that we were using, like, they take forever to position and get right and get set and everything. Yeah. I'm like, we don't have time for that. Like, I'm just gonna shoot it natural light. I don't care, whatever. So the only discrepancy, which normies won't notice it. I mean, we'll notice it, but like, I don't care. People are gonna watch it anyways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could kind of see some like light shifting because the clouds moving around from like the sun and everything outside. So like you can kind of see it if you like scrub through the timeline, but
oh yeah. I mean, that's natural though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not gonna like hinder the story or anything. It doesn't look bad.
And honestly, if the audience like says something about that, they're not paying attention to the story anymore.
Yeah.
There's something wrong already.
Right.
Like
it's like, wow, those guys look really cool and scary. It's kinda, that's about it. I mean, it definitely goes fast. Like if you know you can do it, do it. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend doing that to for everyone, because if you've done it before or if you've done because I've done numerous tests on several different types of cameras with natural light, and I know how far I can push certain camera sensors. I know how far I can push certain bit depths, because we shot on the A7 III and that's all 8-bit, and we were going to the Ninja 5, so 8-bit 422, not a lot, but it's better,
yeah.
With that in mind, it's like, and you're doing natural light, it's like you're running a risk. So unless you know exactly like what your color process is going to be, and like, can I pull this off? Yeah, then go ahead. But if you don't know, don't do it. Have it try to control your lighting as much as possible before you jump into that, because it is hard. It is very hard to execute it correctly. And I mean, I'm still mad about some things, but it looks fine.
I'm really curious how you feel, because, I mean, you make something, you put it out there, and after all of that process and all of that putting out there, what do you think of, I mean, you guys have a pretty big audience. What do you think of, like, audience responses, criticism, any of that kind of stuff? How do you handle that?
Being self-aware of your stuff is a big thing. Like, Evan and I, we've been, at the front of, like I call it violent criticism with our stuff, because most of our audience has always been on the internet. So we always would get people that would just say like, oh, your stuff is or they'll just like rip you apart and whatever. And that was for us, like, I'm looking back, I'm glad people did that, because now I'm just kind of like, now I have such an extreme elitist mentality when it comes to like, within reason. I mean, if there's nothing I can do about it, then it's like, all right, we'll figure it out, But I have such a high standard for my work that I know when there's a mistake, so it's like, oh, I messed that up, like I won't do that next time. And I mostly look for bad comments that are mostly constructive now. If someone says like, oh, the movement's crap, it's like, oh, thanks, that doesn't help me. But I always look for the bad comments, and then I try to find a correlation between like all of them to be like, all right, what's the most common issue, I mean, of course, like if you have like people like, oh, as a film school student, like I'm going to automatically dismiss your opinion because you have zero experience whatsoever. Anyone watching this, if you're a film school student, sorry, but that's true. Like if you don't have any experience in the field, don't say anything.
Yeah, Alan.
That's the harsh truth, man. Like, I mean, if you ever get onto a set, like, as an intern or a PA, and you have, like, some, seasoned veterans on there, like, they'll tell you the same thing.
That was one of the very first things that I learned, because, like, I was already working on sets even in film school. I remember when I first showed up to my my first job as a PA, somebody asked me to set up a C-stand, and I didn't know how to do it properly. Like, a C-stand. A C-stand out of all things. And the thing is like a lot of film students.
It's this.
Yeah, it's that thing right there.
There it is.
A lot of
stand right here.
Exactly. A lot of film students, like from anywhere without experience, they just love like, hey, I read this in a book, and let me tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're gonna you're gonna tell me how I'm wrong on the basics when I'm doing it on purpose. Like there's a reason to this.
Yeah.
Like a local guy, that industry guy, he told me, he says, don't do it. Just go into sets, save your money, and invest in gear, and just practice. And that's
exactly.
What I did. There's no such thing as like mastering anything. It's like there's just, I'm really good at what I do, and I'm getting better at it, and that's it. Technology is is advancing, and like you really knowing your gear is a thing. Knowing how to, like, the primary thing I always tell people, I'm like, Like 90% of the look of a film is just like your lighting. It doesn't matter what camera you're using. You can put a 5D Mark II next to a Red. The lighting is going to look almost the dynamic range will be different. You know, obviously your windows will be blown out on the 5D versus the Red, but like just throw like a 4th Pro Mist on the 5D and it'll look fine.
Exactly, yeah.
But like if you have dynamic lighting, it'll look fine. The only difference is that people really ignore is that you have to know, like, you need to know your color science. That matters. Resolution does matter, because I know there's the whole Blackmagic 12K meme and everyone's freaking out about it. I said it's a good thing because you get full RGB and you can oversample in 4K and 8K so you have a better image without cropping it on your sensor. That's the reason why they went that route. You're not supposed to actually use the 12K. You can, but you're not supposed to.
Not 12K 60. Why am I getting it?
Yeah, it's like if I painted, I'm like, I would just shoot in 4K, oversample 4K. That's all you would need, and you would have an unbelievably beautiful image with it. Everyone wants to about it or whatever and be like, it's not area red. It's like, whatever, man.
I do this in interviews to my clients. They say, like, all right, we just want to hire you for your lights or interview a camera. Just bring everything, deliver to us in 1080. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do that. And I'll take the Blackmagic and I shoot it in 4K at 422, all this other crazy stuff, and then I edit it, do everything on it, and then I deliver it at 1080. So that's 4K compressed to 1080, and they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
what is this?
This isn't a Rebel.
Yeah, and I just tell them I did my job. I did nothing. I don't know. I just put the camera down and that's it. And they're like, dude. Yeah. And that's how you get hired.
I want to get that 12K 60 FPS footage, put it on my computer, and warm up next to the fire. That's gonna cause
warm up next to the bonfire that's gonna create.
Yeah, good.
Just listen to your fans rev up.
Oh man, dude, mine's a jet engine. I can't. It'll take off one of these days. I swear.
We're gonna
to
make
God.
a comparison video. What's louder, a 12K camera or a Red? And people are gonna debate down there on the comments. But
I don't mind that. Another thing that I wanted to mention is ultimately, like, for SCP and for this entire fandom, I'm curious how you, starting out with kind of anything, like you could have made anything from where you had started, and what made you guys choose to not only SCP but kind of this tactical element of it.
So Evan came. Well, actually, we were in the middle of pre-production for a different film that never saw the light of day because we got rained out. And
was it in Florida?
No, it was here. It was here actually. It was in November. Rain in November here.
I think that's called snow.
Sleet.
Oh, fun.
We were in pre-production and he came to me. He says, "Hey man, like I just found this community called like the SCP Foundation, and it's kind of cool because it's got like all this tactical stuff to it. It's basically the Men in Black, and they have their own personal army to like secure anomalies and stuff." I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's like, I'm gonna do some more digging in it. I'm like, all right. So then we go. We had a $10,000 budget for this film. And we start shooting it. We have everyone paid and hired and all that. This is when the Gemini just came out. And we were using the Gemini on it because the whole thing took place at night. Well, everything just went wrong. And we eventually got rained out. Yeah, like gear was failing or whatever. The Red like froze. The HMI wasn't wanting to stay on. A fan to blow the fog fell over and just blew apart or whatever. I was like, this is not happening. Like this
what a
is
catastrophe.
Then it starts to like drizzle, and the Gemini's not mine. I'm renting it from someone.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I'm like, and you know the scare because Reds have the fans on the tops. It's like, bro, that ain't gonna fly. So we had to postpone to spring. Right around this time, First Contact had just been released, SCP First Contact, which Evan made in GTA 5 using the Rockstar editor and made it look like a found footage movie.
So that's what,
Is that the one with the cop? He walks in.
No, that's the back room.
Oh, that's the back room.
But still, okay. I was like, how did this looks like GTA, but like feels so much better.
There's an actual technical term for it. I just forgot it, but we find this more fun to say. We deep fry it in post, which means it just means you make your image look like complete dog. We were watching the numbers on it, and it just exploded. Like, I got like 1 million views in a couple weeks, so we're like, oh, okay. So we did some more additional research on top of that, and we found that there were no films about the tactical, like the paramilitary professionals that the Foundation uses to go out and look and contain anomalies. Everything was all like these facilities, and it was just people sitting in a room talking about stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of audio files.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, riveting, So I was talking to Evan, I said, do another one, and let's see what happens. So then he released Ghost Town, and it wasn't as received as First Contact because there was way more. It's a lot of talking, but it also had a reasonable response, and we're like, people are going to watch this, and there's no live action adaptations of it. We need to capitalize on that. So what we did is that we decided to throw out the failed film, and we used the remaining budget, which was like $3,000, to fund Dollhouse. So we bought everything. We found a location. Like I went to 6 months before, we went into, pre-production. I went to Evan. I said, I want to make a film that's a military film. The plot is military dudes show up to a house. They go in the house and spook happens. That's verbatim what I told him.
It's a good log line.
6 months later, hands me a script. He's like, here you go, get to work. I'm like, great. So we had 1 month to get our operators, our locations, all of our gear, which I just bought all on Amazon.
Damn.
Yeah, and then after we were done, I sent everything back. So after that, the total amount spent was about $2,000 to make Dollhouse.
Damn, man.
And since we knew that, okay, we have the numbers to back it up that people are going to watch this because we have 2 previous videos, it's like, these are video game movies. People are going to watch a live action version, 100%. And I went around, I reached out trying to see if I could get people to come help me, and everyone was conveniently busy. We had a crew of 4 people. This was my first AD, script supervisor, gaffer, and first AC.
You had more cast members than crew.
Oh,
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then it came out, and then it blew up, and we're like, all right, well, we knew that would happen, so now what? And we're like, all right, let's take it a step further. And then Evan gives me this concept. I said, that's going to cost too much money for crowdfunding. Give me something in between so we can show people we can deliver something with a $25,000 budget or so instead of a $100,000 budget. We don't want to come out swinging that hard. By that point, Dollhouse got us a lot of eyes on us from airsoft companies like Evike, Elite Force, all that, and some military companies, some people that know Grantham and Travis Haley, all of them. They all took interest in it. It's great, and then we started our Kickstarter, and that got successful, which was nice. And then COVID happened, and we had to delay it. Yeah. That's been the process so far, up until now. So now we just have to finish this, throw it out there, and see if any streaming services will take it as a proof of concept, which is what we're working on right now.
Hell yeah.
What streaming services are you trying to reach out for?
So we've reached out to Hulu, and they said no. Bummer. We're going to reach out to HBO Max, and we're going to see if we can also get with Amazon as well. My initial intention is to to present it to them hey, look, we're competent enough to have have people give us money and then deliver, and use Overlord as a proof of concept for that, to see if hey, will you fund our next one? We need adult money. Big boy money.
But is that the future for everything? Is moving towards streaming, trying to do those kind of projects? What's your vision of the future? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, what do you see?
I told Evan, I want to be with the streaming service within 5 years.
Hell yeah.
And he's currently a contractor for Infinity Ward, and he plans to go full time with them for about 5 years. He'll be on the West Coast. I plan to move to Florida this year, so I'll be East Coast.
Well, we'll be happy to have you down here.
Yeah, that would be great. You successfully had a crowdfunding, and it succeeded. What are some of the things that you did for that to happen?
You have to just find something that is lacking stuff. So we found the SCP community was lacking films based around the paramilitary aspect of the Foundation. And we knew people wanted to see that. So when we released Dollhouse, people wanted to see it. Cool, we have the numbers to back that up. So whenever we went in, because people wanted another one, okay, well, we're broke, so what do we do? Let's do Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because our buddy Clay, who did the 096 SCP film, he's doing the visual effects on this one. He did a crowdfunding campaign. He asked for $6,000, and he got $23,000.
Hell yeah.
But when we saw that he could do it, we're like, oh, okay, well, if he can do it, we can easily do that, because people watch our stuff and they want more. I said it as all right, let's ask for $20,000, because that's reasonable, because to outside people that aren't our fan base, they don't know who we are. Mm-hmm. And so we just have to make it look really cool, just have a lot of cool concept art and all that, and convincing enough to where it's all right, these guys don't look stupid. So like, because that's really it. Like that's really what it is. It's like you just have to be, even if you haven't done it before, which we obviously hadn't. You just have to be really good at selling yourself and be like, yeah, I am competent. Give me a chance.
That's the hardest hurdle for a lot of people to get over is not only because like somebody can make work and like make it look really good and whatnot, but it's like you said, making it interesting, making it look competent, making it seem as they can do it again.
Like build the trust with the
Exactly,
audience. So they're
which
like,
is,
cool,
like,
okay,
really hard.
I'm actually backing something that's potentially going to go
Exactly.
somewhere.
Kickstarter rewards too are a big thing. So like, a lot of the rewards is like we'll send you patches. Like we were gonna send people like, oh hey, like we will send you gas masks too. So like if but those are
hell
like
yeah.
those are like high tier. Like people who gave us like $500, there was only 7 slots for it, which is like 7 characters, the main characters that have like the masks and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And all the everything on the mask is custom. I did all that. Even the VPUs, like I had to make those myself.
I've seen the poster for Overlord. It's the one with all the branches, right? Unless you change something. I have to admit, I love the way it looks. It gives me this very metal, like Mandy. Have you ever seen Mandy?
I have, yeah. Oh wait, no, not Mandy. Color Out of Space.
Color Out of
I
Space.
thought that's what you were talking about.
Best
Yeah.
Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage movies. Yeah.
Both Nicolas Cage, but like I really love the look. And what got you to make the poster as it is now? Is there a certain mystery? Is there, or do you just put pictures in a frame and that's it? Please don't say you put pictures on a frame and that's
No,
it.
dude, you're gonna laugh. I don't know if you guys can like throw this up on the screen.
Okay.
See that?
Oh,
Oh no!
That's literally how it started.
It doesn't
Evan
even have a
sent me-
gas mask.
No, Evan just sent me that. He's like, here, do something like this. I'm like, all right.
This guy went to MS Paint.
oh my god, I love that.
A lot of our stuff is done in like in
That is
MS
beautiful.
Paint, where we just kind of go, oh yeah, well here's the idea, because we can, since we've done stuff like this for so long, because whenever we first started doing all this stuff, we it was go to your day job, come home and do it. It was like we just like we lived and breathed it all the time.
Yeah.
So whenever someone sends me like an MS Paint like thing, I can go, okay, I know exactly, like I can see what you want.
I guess to start to wrap things up, what is I want to say almost like an SCP Encounter that is the dream for you to shoot? And that is if you even want to continue shooting SCP stuff.
Personally, like I've been trying to get Evan to get on board with it. He doesn't want to do it because he doesn't really like the facilities and stuff. But I want to do like a limited series of an actual containment breach.
Oh.
So we go from the facility, we see the facility. I mean, stick with an original concept, have some fan service in there where it's like someone references like an existing SCP from the wiki.
Of course, yeah.
Or, someone goes by like, its containment door and you see it or whatever, just be like, yeah, okay, sure. But the actual threat is totally original, so you don't know what to expect. But I've always wanted to kind of really dig into it where it's like, what would a facility like that look like? And to me, it would probably be something that would be in broad daylight. Like something you would have no idea is there, but it's there,
Kind of like Men in Black style.
Yeah, like a bank building or something. And it looks like a bank building, but there's like hidden floors on it.
Yeah.
Like something like that. So I've always wanted to do something like that where it's like we see the agents, we have all that, and then there's a containment breach, and then they have to send a specific MTF containment team out in the field to get it, and then actually show... Instead of like saying over a radio, oh yeah, we have tanks, but actually show like, because like the Hammer Down MTF, which they are featured in Overlord, they're the MTF that has everything. They are the last resort for everything. But we can't show that because we don't have the budget. You just know who they are, and you're like, oh, this is just a sliver of it. There's more out there,
Yeah.
So being able to show that with a high budget would be cool, and then containing it and then bringing it back to the facility. But there's still a problem at the facility where we get to show the on-site MTF unit, which is the Nine-Tailed Fox unit, because in our universe with our SCP lore, all our MTF units that are out in the field are private contractors. They don't have any identifying logos, because if you're something that's not supposed to exist, you're not going to have that on you. You're just going to look like a guy.
Yeah, like Blackwater or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, well, if you die in the field, it's just like, oh, it's some guy, you know. It's not like, who the hell is this? Oh, it's the, you know, whatever. It's not some esoteric, you know, or it's not some clandestine foundation or whatever. I've had these ideas of like, what would the actual, like, the MTF containment team at the facility look like? And I kind of thought like it'd probably be a variation of like the Talos armor, but bigger, you know, like these giant dudes that just look terrifying with like these like updated, like compact, you know, like panoramic, like night vision and thermal visions and stuff. And I'm like, man, that'd be so awesome to do, you know? And then like, and just really, yeah, you know, and but it also allows exploration with the reach of the Foundation as well, you know, like how like something so catastrophic can happen, you know, to like a city or a world, and they have the power to make everyone forget about it, and no one would know what happened, you know. And it'd just be something that's like, you know, it could have already happened, and we would, like, even now, like, something probably terrifying could have happened, and we have no idea.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about the SCP world, you know, because like it everything is so like you said, grounded in reality. It just so happens that we're dealing with these they're things really from other dimensions that affect us in a way.
Well, especially like just the man, like having it in a bank building is so perfect. That's just like, oh yeah, even the tactical force could be anywhere.
Exactly.
Like, I love that.
There's a weird bank here, and there's a weird bank on the other side of the country. Yeah. You know, stuff like that. That's awesome.
It's just a lot of like weird things, because it's like there's even like the infinite IKEA. I don't know if you guys heard that. Like that's an actual SCP story where it's like you go into this IKEA and it goes forever, and it's like a whole world. Or
exactly.
whatever.
There's even like tribes inside the IKEA where people have gotten lost, and some of the there were the workers who would like at day they would like, hey, how you doing, blah blah blah, but at night they're like, hey, the store is closed, and they would try to kill you.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they turn into these monsters. Yeah.
Steven, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. Where can everybody find you? Where can we send everybody to make sure that they see your amazing work, my friend?
So SCP Overlord, like I said, should be coming out like late September, early October. You can see it on Evan Royalty's YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/EvanRoyalty, or just search in the search bar, it'll be the first result. If you want to watch some of my other content, you can go to retrodigital.co/narrative, and you can see some of my older work there as well. But until then, all of our stuff's gonna be put on Evan's channel as well.
And like we said, links in the description for all of that stuff. And again, we cannot thank you. This has been so nice.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. One more plug. If you want to buy the SCP Overlord poster, like the digital file, so you can so you can print it off yourself, you can go to Etsy. Just search SCP Overlord movie poster. I'll give you the link for it so you can put it in the description. But it's perfect. Yeah, it'll probably be easier that way. But yeah, it's $10 for the file. I recommend Vistaprint premium gloss 24 by 36. It's a 4K file, so you'll have all the goodness, the sharpness.
I can't wait to see that MS Paint triangle in like 4K.
Oh yeah, dude. 4K. You just kind of see like it's like layered behind it. It's like it's there.
It's like, wait a minute.
Enhance.
It's at 10 opacity. What the hell? And like
on that note, thank you again so much, Steven, and I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Yeah, same.
Thank you.
And there we go.
Boom. Well, that was great.
That was awesome. Like, he was the coolest guy.
A lot of good experiences there. A lot of just overall knowledge of like, hey, grab an idea, capitalizing on it. Hopefully, it takes you somewhere, and it looks like it's gonna.
And definitely being realistic about like where you're gonna be. Don't give yourself like 1 year to do something and underestimate maybe 5 years.
And I guess that's it. So if you guys want to see more of him and whatnot, we're gonna have plenty of links below. Please check him out. Go to his Etsy, get that awesome bomb poster that he's got. I know it. I kind of want one myself because it looks awesome.
The big MS Paint triangle.
No,
yeah, dude.
Stop.
So if you like this video, please give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Consider subscribing for more stuff like this.
Please.
And let us know other people that you would like to have on the show. Or if you yourself are making something interesting, we'd love to have you on. Maybe. We don't know if we have the time.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If you're even worthy. Who are you?
send us your reel, dude. Send us your portfolio.
I would love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if you have more questions for us, please leave it on the comments below. We'll try to answer as many as possible, or just answer them in general. Remember, we're constantly on the comments. We will answer to you. And yeah, see you in the comments below, and see you in the next video next week.
Oh my! I couldn't hold my eyes open for so long. We were just staring at that monitor. Stop!
I'm